This is Maury of Yasharal. The Ruah is the guide for the oppressed. Who's the oppressor? Mr. White? Am I lying to you? Their history speaks for itself. Look in the middle. Here's their primary leader over the colonization of the book. Constantine, the so-called great. He was praying to his God. Christos Helios, see him to the left, on his chariot, riding into the sun. And he inquired of him whether or not he would win the battle. Then he was shown the sign in the heavens of a former conquest over the children of Yasharal. And when he saw the sign of the cross, he said, God wills it. And he went into battle and cut down his enemies. Look who went at the helm. See the eagle on the pole? It's a symbol of God. God Ruah, the one who deceived Eve, the one who showed men the blows of death. By his hand, men have gone around the world to steal, kill, and destroy. Even to this day, we are still under Roman rule. When you look at the American flag, you'll see the same eagle on the top of the staff. The only way that you can come out of this matrix that they've created for us, an alternative universe, is through the Ruah. Let's begin. Ephesians chapter 2, 1-4. Who are the Ephesians? Well, it's a place in Turkey called Ephesus, first under Greek rule. Then the Romans came, and it went under their rule. Who were scattered there? The children of Yasharal. 1. And you have he quickened. Quickened? Poured out his Ruah. Let's see if we can identify them. Who were dead in trespasses and sins. Sin is a replacement for transgression of the law. Who were under the law? Who did he come to redeem that were under the law? Only the children of Yasharal. 2. Wherein in time past you walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air. The prince of the power of the air? Under the Greeks, his name was Abolishing. He was Helios, the sun god. Then the Romans came with a different name. Christos. Helios, the sun god. If you're calling on Christ, you're calling on the name of the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. The camps are the largest groups amongst us. They will all be destroyed. They're still calling on Abolishing. In Christ. 3. Among whom also we all had our conversation in times past, in the lust of the flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind, and were by nature the children of wrath, indeed as others. 4. But Yah, who is rich in mercy, mercy presupposes guilt. He's speaking of a guilty party. Go back to verse 1. The ones who were dead in trespasses and transgressions of the law, who were under the law, only the children of the Yasharal, for his great love wherewith he loved us. Yasharal only have I known. I don't know any other people on the earth. So this whole passage is only speaking of one people. 5. Indeed, when we, who's we? The northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. How do I know this? We're dead in transgressions of the law. Who were under the law? Who took the covenant of the mount? Who was sprinkled with blood? Who was told to walk in the law? Only the children of Yasharal. Have quickened, he poured out his Ruah unto us, together with Christ, the God of Constantine the Great. Required reading for all of the children of Yasharal. Read the Constantine Creed, where he abolishes the law. In his letter altogether, he said absolutely nothing that these Negroes do. So Christ begins the abolition of the law. Christ is the colonizer of this book. Christ replaces the Messiah. So you were looking for the Antichrist all the time? But he's always been here in your book. He's the anti-Messiah. And his name is Christ. See how the serpents work? Now look at Messiah. Has a meaning. Masha, burden. Yah, arm stretched forth. Where? In the he. See the H? On the pictograph it's called het. Tent. Closure. Structure. Where is the Messiah today? In the heavens. In the tabernacle. Not made with hands. Carrying out all of the pertinent rites that Constantine the Great abolished on earth. How does he do that? He makes the sacrifice. He puts the blood in the basin. He goes into the Holy of Holies. He dips his finger in the blood. He sprinkles it before the mercy seat 7 times. And on the mercy seat 7 times. When the Father sees this action, this rite that is carried out according to divine law, then he exonerates us from all of our transgressions. Do the Gentiles know this? Of course they do. Look what they put in parentheses right next to it. By grace you were saved. Now why would they see it there? Because they know the action of the Messiah. He's the high priest. I have a simple question for you so that you can overcome this grace stuff. Is there a grace seat? There's only a mercy seat. 6. And have raised us up together. Us, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. Were the Gentiles raised up with us? No. And made us sit together in heavenly places in Yahusha, the Messiah, who's in the heavens, and is documented. 144,000 of the children of Yasharal, 12,000 from each tribe. Is there any Gentiles there? Is Mr. White there? Mr. Black? Mr. Yellow? 7. That in the ages to come he might show the exceeding riches of his mercy. Mercy presupposes guilt. They were dead in trespasses of the law. In his kindness towards us, he is the one required to give you a high priest. But the Greeks, the Romans, and now the English have caused the sacrifices to cease. The Greeks and the Romans caused the sacrifices to cease in the land. here comes the English. They caused the sacrifice to cease in the book, in their translation. You have to overcome this. Yahushua HaMashiach would not be a priest if he was not offering up the pertinent rites on the new moons, on the Shabbats, and on the feast days. 8. By mercy are you saved through faith, not grace. Remember, mercy presupposes guilt, and there's only a mercy seat. And that it's not of yourselves. Are you the high priest? No. Only Yahushua HaMashiach can carry out these rites. It is the gift of Yah. He is responsible for supplying you a high priest. 9. Not of works. Your works of the law cannot make this happen, lest any man should boast. 10. For we, who's we? The northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, the house of Yasharal and the house of Yahudah, are his workmanship. Who did he bring out of the land of Egypt? Created in Yahushua, the Messiah, unto good works. The outward means to show that you have the Ruah, is that you'll begin to keep these commandments, which Yah have before ordained that we, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, the house of Yasharal and the house of Yahudah, should walk in them, who was sprinkled with blood. Who took the covenant? Who's on the contract? 11. Wherefore remember that you being in time past Gentiles in the flesh. Remember, this is a translation. They can lead you astray just by adding to or taking away. Let's add to ourselves to make this clear. Wherefore remember that you being in time past like the Gentiles in the flesh. How do we know that this translation is correct? Who is he speaking of? Those who are under the law, those who were commanded to walk in them, who are called uncircumcision, by which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands. Who was carried away? The northern kingdom. They were carried into foreign lands. They were made unclean in every way. They were told, you cannot circumcise your children on the 8th day. Who was calling them the uncircumcision? The southern kingdom, the house of Yahudah. They hated them so much. You have to study Acts of the Apostles, chapter 2. But here, let me give you another passage. The apostle, Shimon, they call him Peter. Peter had a dream. He saw clean and unclean animals. He was told in the dream, arise, Peter, slay and eat. He said, I've never touched anything unclean. Later on in the context, the Aliyam came to him and explained the dream. They were speaking about the northern kingdom. The Messiah had came to bring the two sticks back together again as one. So the northern kingdom was also included in this great salvation, the house of Yasharal as a whole. 12. That at that time you were without the Messiah. Yes, being aliens, cut off from the commonwealth of Yasharal, and strangers, no, estranged from the covenants of the promise, not connected to the root, having no hope, and without Yah in the world. 13. But now, in Yahushua, the Messiah, you who were sometimes far off, the northern kingdom, are brought nigh, you're brought close, by the blood of the Messiah. He sprinkles the blood 7 times with his finger before the mercy seat. 7 times with his finger on the mercy seat. What do you have to do? Show up for the appointments. When are they? On the new moons, on the Shabbats, and on the feast days. 14. For he is our peace. He is the Prince of Peace, who have made both the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom one, and have broken down the middle wall of partition between us. He has reconciled the two parties back together again by the blood that he sprinkles before the mercy seat and on the mercy seat. 15. Having abolished in his flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments contained in ordinances. This is serpent speech, in their doctrinal principles. They say that verse 15 tells you that the law has been abolished. Does it really say that? Can you read? Do you look up every word? I do. Okay, let's read it again using the definition of enmity. Having abolished in his flesh the hatred. What hatred? The hatred between the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, and even the law of commandments contained in ordinances. He abolished the hatred between us and the hatred of the law. He didn't abolish the law. If he abolished the law, then this book is totally upside down. Because in Revelation it tells you the only people who are going to enter into the city is those who keep his commandments. You understand? All right. Why was the northern kingdom carried away? Because they transgressed the law of Yahuwah. They hated it. They turned to other mighty ones. Why was the southern kingdom evicted? Because they transgressed the law of Yahuwah. They turned to other mighty ones. And they were evicted. Let's continue. For to make in himself of twain 2 sticks, 2 olive trees that were separate, to bring them back to the root under one banner, the house of Yasharal, making one new man, so making peace. 16. And that he, Yahushua HaMashiach, might reconcile. This is a very dangerous word for the Gentiles. You see, before we didn't know how to read, but we do now. Return, to do again, to bring 2 parties back together. Can you be brought back to something that you were never a part of in the first place? Both the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, the house of Yasharal and the house of Yahudah, unto Yah in one body. Stop for a moment. Everyone on the contract is right here. The northern kingdom, the southern kingdom, and the lawgiver himself. He who is seated upon the throne, to reconcile both unto Yah in one body by the cross. The cross is a loan word. From who? The Latin text. Yeah. The Septuagint. We're reading now the Greek New Testament. And the word that is used in the Greek New Testament is stauros. What does that mean? Tree, upright, stake, or pale. Okay, let's read the whole thing again. And that he might reconcile, bring 2 parties back together again, both unto Yah in one body by the tree, having slain the enmity, the hatred thereby. This was his purpose. Not to bring any Gentiles in. 17. And came and preached peace to you who were afar off. The northern kingdom and some of the southern kingdom were carried away now by the Greeks. And to them that were nigh, the house of Yahudah that was still in the land. 18. For through him, Yahushua, the Messiah, we, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, the house of Yasharal and the house of Yahudah, both have access by one Ruah unto the Father. We have been reconciled back to him. The communications device has been sent out to the children of Yasharal. 19. Now therefore you are no more strangers and foreigners. Let me read that another way. Now therefore you are no more estranged in foreign lands, but fellow citizens with the Kedusha Yam and of the household of Yah. 20. And are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Yahusha HaMashiach himself being the chief cornerstone. He is the brick and the mortar that holds this whole thing together. Epiphany, the foundation of the apostles, the great city, the new Yerushalayim, shall come down from the heavens, 1,500 miles long, 1,500 miles wide, 1,500 miles high. On the foundation shall be the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. Is there any Gentile foundation? Well, they try to say that Paul, Shaul, is a Gentile. Why do they say that? Because he was a Roman citizen? I'm an American citizen. I'm not white. And we're saying white because these are the people who are perpetrating this fraud in the book. He also gave his credentials. He's from the seed of Abraham, from the tribe of Benjamin. When they saw him, they thought that he was an Egyptian. That's how dark he was. So we can put away with that mess. So when the great city, the new Yerushalayim, lands on earth, there will be 12 gates. At the gates, 12 angels. There won't be any gate crashers. On the gates are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Yasharal. Is there a 13th gate? Is there a Gentile gate? Everything they told you is a lie. It's all about us and no one else. From Genesis to Revelation, it's all about us. 21. In whom all the building fitly framed together grows unto a set-apart temple in Yahuwah. We are also reconciled back to our Master by the blood that is sprinkled with the finger of the Messiah. 22. In whom you also are built together for a habitation of Yah through the Ruah. What is the purpose of the Ruah? To lead us and guide us into righteousness. The Ruah are only for the children of Yasharal. Everything is about us. Nothing is about them. We shall be the head and not the tail, above and not beneath, lenders and not borrowers. This bothers them. They've been ruling too long. The time of the Gentiles is at an end. The children of Yasharal are awakening all over the world, and we're returning to our appointments. We're being cleansed by the blood that is sprinkled by the Messiah. And soon the Father will say, enough. Go get 'em. Shalom.